Does it seem like your wife is always mad at you? Well, if that's happening in your household, I know that it feels really harsh and untrue and doesn't make you feel very good and creates distance between the two of you. So today I'm going to share with you a counterintuitive way to disarm your wife. I'm Lesli Dories, your marriage coach, creator of the Hero Husband Project, and owner of Foundations Coaching. Now, the truth of the matter is that when somebody is upset with us, we generally do one of two things. We usually engage in some way to defend ourselves, tell the person why they're wrong, point out their faults as well. And I'm going to ask, how's that working for you if that's your choice? The other choice that we have is to go inward, get really quiet, do what's commonly called stonewalling, which basically doesn't solve the problem either. So there are three things that you need to do as soon as you feel that your wife is angry, mad, upset with you for some reason. The first thing you need to do is to just take a deep breath or two. What that does is it centers you and it lets you get in touch with yourself and also attach your cognitive brain, because when we're attacked, it feels like we're being chased by a lion. It turns into a life or death situation and we go into that fight or flee mode. And generally, what the result is, we do the proverbial from the fire into the frying pan. We generally don't solve the situation. The second thing to do is, once it has been established that yes, something is bothering her, that you reflect back to her what you are hearing. You aren't adding any extra comments to it. You aren't explaining your position. You aren't defending yourself. You're not doing anything except stating back what you heard. This again is another step to grab your flooding emotions that are going to send the conversation into an argument or somehow not make it work. Okay. Now, this is just very simple. You try not to use the word you, but to say, I heard that leaving the dishes in the sink creates a problem. Is that right? So you want to check in to make sure that you understand what the problem is. And this kind of leads in to the third step, which is listening to understand. Now, I know that when you're feeling attacked, and especially if you think that you're being unjustly accused of something, doing this does not make sense. But I'm going to tell you that it works, and I'm going to tell you why. When we listen to understand, and please be clear, understanding somebody does not mean you agree with them. Let me repeat that. Understanding somebody's position does not mean the same thing as agreeing to it. What it means is that I can turn around to a third person who didn't hear anything going on and I could accurately describe my wife's position. Okay? And the reason why you want to do this, and this gives you the opportunity to ask some questions to get more clarity. But the reason why you want to do this is because she is having this emotion. You don't want her to have this emotion. And instead of trying to talk her out of having that emotion, you want to understand where it is coming from. Okay? So when you listen to understand, you're going to get more information. And so I'll tell you in the next video a couple of different ways to do that, but I don't want to get off track in this one. So another reason why it disarms your wife is because when you listen to understand, when you're not, things aren't coming back at her, but when somebody is asking to really understand her thoughts, feelings, what's going on with her, it makes her feel loved. The reason being is that feeling heard is as close to feeling loved that for most people there is no difference. I know that the times that I get angry and frustrated is when I don't feel heard, and then I'm fighting to get somebody to hear me. Now again, I don't necessarily, I mean, I do want them to understand my position. I don't want them to necessarily to agree with me. And something that bothers your wife may actually not bother you, and that's okay. But if you want to move past this, if you want to get out of the doghouse, which I know you do, listening is the first step. Okay? And I'm going to share more on what you do after you have understood her position next time. But so please come back next week and to listen to the next video. But for right now, I challenge you for this week to try breathing, reflecting back what you understand the issue is, and then asking more questions, listening to understand her position. Okay? And so until next week, stay loving.